I survived 3 tours in Vietnam and a classified mission that officially never happened. But today, a 22-year-old TikToker with 2 million followers is destroying my life with a smartphone camera in a Home Depot parking lot. This is exactly what stolen valor looks like, guys, the kid says, pointing his phone at my chest where my Vietnam service pins are attached to my jacket. Look at this old dude trying to get discounts and sympathy with fake military gear. A crowd has gathered around us in the Tucson heat, phones coming out, that electric buzz of potential viral content in the air. I'm just trying to load lumber into my truck building a deck for my granddaughter, Emma's graduation party, but this social media kid has turned my Tuesday afternoon into a public tribunal. Son, those aren't fake, I say quietly, hoping to defuse the situation. I earned every one of them. Sure you did, boomer. The TikToker username at Valor Police, according to his bio, steps closer, his camera capturing every detail of my combat infantryman badge, my Bronze Star, my Vietnam campaign ribbon. Let me guess, you were Special Forces, right? Navy SEAL? Maybe a Green Beret? 101st Airborne, I tell him. 3 tours, 1967 to 1970. Ooh, He turns to his camera, performing for his audience. They always say 101st Airborne. It's like the Stolen Valor starter pack. Next, he'll tell us about his classified missions and how many people he eliminated. The word eliminated hits different when you've actually done it. When you wake up 53 years later, still seeing faces, still hearing names, still carrying the weight of decisions made in jungle darkness that changed the course of history in ways the public will never know. I never talk about classified missions, I say, because they don't exist. The kid is really working the crowd now, his followers count climbing in real time on his screen. This is textbook stolen valor, guys. Fake veteran trying to cosplay. His way into respect he never earned. Someone in the crowd shouts, "Thank you for your service, sir." But it's drowned out by others murmuring agreement with the TikToker. A woman records me with obvious disappointment, like I've personally betrayed every real veteran in America. "Sir," a store employee approaches nervously. "Is there a problem here?" "No problem," I say, loading the last board into my truck. "Just a misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" The TikToker laughs. The only misunderstanding is this faker thinking he can fool people. Look at him run away when confronted with the truth. I'm not running. I'm leaving because nothing good can come from engaging with someone whose entire identity is built on social media controversy. But as I drive home, I can already see the notification count climbing on my phone. Emma tagged me in the video that's spreading across every platform dot by the time I reach my house in Marana. The video has 50,000 views. And counting. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, who's brought me casseroles every Christmas for 15 years, watches me from her window with undisguised suspicion. The comments are brutal. Faker exposed, stolen valor scum. This is why real veterans hate. Posers. Someone find out who this fraud is. Emma's car is in my driveway when I pull up. She's sitting on my porch steps, laptop open, fury radiating from her like heat. "Grandpa, what the hell is this?" She shows me the video. Now it's 75,000 views. "This little punk is calling you a fake veteran?" Emma's 22, just graduated from ASU with a journalism degree, and she has her grandmother's fire and her mother's investigative instincts. When she gets angry about injustice, she doesn't just complain, she destroys. "It's fine, sweetheart. These things blow over. Fine. Grandpa, you have actual service records. You have photos, documents, witness testimony. This isn't fine. This is defamation." I sit beside her on the steps, watching the view count climb. "Emma, sometimes it's better to let sleeping dogs lie." "What does that mean?" "It means that my service records, the ones she thinks will vindicate me, contain gaps that would raise more questions than they answer. It means that 3 months of my second tour are classified at a level that requires presidential authorization to declassify. It means that Operation Nightfall, the mission that earned me the Bronze Star, officially never happened. It means that proving your grandfather isn't a fraud might require revealing things that were meant to stay secret. Emma's eyes narrow. What kind of secret? Before I can answer, my phone rings. Unknown number, but I recognize the voice immediately. Hello, Jack. Colonel Morrison. Retired now, but once upon a time my commanding officer for operations that don't appear in any history books. Sir, I assume you've seen the video. Yes, sir. We need to talk. Can you meet me at the usual place in an hour? The usual place is a veterans bar called Murphy's. Far enough from the city that we won't be recognized, dark enough that conversations disappear into the ambient noise of pool games and country music. Emma, I have to go out for a bit. I'm coming with you. No, you're not. Grandpa, I'm 22 years old. I'm a journalist. And I'm not letting some TikTok punk destroy your reputation while you sit there taking it. She closes her laptop. With finality, we're going to prove you're the real deal. And if proving that requires revealing classified information, Ben will deal with that when we get there. Murphy's hasn't changed in 20 years. Same smoky lighting, same country music, same bartender who doesn't ask questions. Morrison is already at our usual table, nursing a whiskey and looking every bit the retired intelligence officer. He nods when he sees me, then notices Emma. Who's the girl? My granddaughter. She's helping me with the situation. Morrison's expression doesn't change, but his eyes shift to Emma with the assessment of someone who's spent decades evaluating threats and opportunities. Ms. Emma Chun, she says, extending her hand. I'm a journalist, and I'm here to help. My grandfather proved his service record. Interesting. Morrison shakes her hand, then looks at me. Jack, we have a problem. The video? The video is the least of our problems. The real problem is that your little TikTok friend has stirred up interest from people who shouldn't be interested. Emma leans forward. What do you mean? Morrison signals the bartender for another round. Ms. Chun, has your grandfather ever told you about Operation Nightfall? He doesn't talk about Vietnam much. That's because Operation Nightfall wasn't in Vietnam. Morrison's voice drops to barely above a whisper. It was in Laos, 1969. Officially, American ground troops were never in Laos. I feel the old familiar weight settling on my chest. Sir, this is classified. Was classified. That changed about 4 hours ago. Morrison shows us his phone, displaying an official DOD document. Emergency Declassification Order. Operation Nightfall is now part of the public record. Emma's eyes widen. Why? Because foreign intelligence services have been using social media to identify and target veterans of classified operations. Your grandfather's viral humiliation? That wasn't random. Someone wanted him exposed, wanted his service record scrutinized, wanted attention drawn to the gaps in his official history. The pieces start falling into place with sickening clarity. The TikToker knew too much, asked too specific questions, seemed too prepared for our encounter. The kid was working for someone. I say, the kid was being used by someone. Classic intelligence. Operation Recruit useful idiots through social media. Point them at targets. Let them create chaos while keeping your own hands clean. Emma pulls out her laptop. I can trace his funding sources, his content patterns, his engagement metrics. If he's being manipulated, there will be digital fingerprints. Morrison nods approvingly. Smart girl, but we need to move fast. If foreign operatives are targeting Nightfall veterans, the other survivors could be in danger. How many survivors? Emma asks. Morrison and I exchange glances. This is the part of the story that's haunted me for 53 years. 12 men went into Laos, I say quietly. 3 came back. What was the mission? Morrison answers. North Vietnamese army was moving Soviet nuclear technicians through Laos to establish a weapons development facility. If they'd succeeded, the war would have taken a very different turn. Nuclear weapons in Southeast Asia? Nuclear weapons 30 miles from the DMZ, pointed at American bases in South Vietnamese cities. Morrison's voice is grim. Operation Nightfall was authorized at the highest levels to locate and neutralize that facility. Emma is typing furiously, cross-referencing dates and declassified documents. Grandpa, according to this, you were awarded the Bronze Star for extraordinary heroism in the face of overwhelming enemy forces. What really happened? I close my eyes, remembering the night that changed everything. We found the facility. But it wasn't just technicians. It was a full research complex with Soviet scientists, North Vietnamese engineers, and enough uranium to level Saigon. And we destroyed it. All of it, but in the process, we had to ... I struggle with the words. We had to eliminate everyone in the facility. Scientists, technicians, security personnel. No witnesses, no survivors. How many people? 47. The bar falls silent around us. Emma stares at me, processing the magnitude of what I'd just revealed. You saved thousands of lives, Morrison says firmly. Maybe tens of thousands. If that facility had become operational, I know what we prevented. I cut him off. I also know what we did to prevent it. Emma's phone buzzes with notifications. She checks the screen and her face goes pale. Grandpa, the TikTok video just hit 2 million views. But there's something else. She shows us her laptop screen. I've been tracking at Valor Police's activity patterns. In the past 6 months, he's exposed 12 different veterans, all Vietnam era, all with gaps in their service records. Morrison leans forward. Show me the list. Emma reads off names, and with each one, Morrison's expression grows grimmer. These aren't random stolen valor accusations. They're targeted attacks on the surviving members of classified operations. They're systematic, Morrison confirms. Someone is using social media to identify and neutralize veterans who participated in sensitive operations during the Cold War. Neutralize how? Destroy their credibility. Make them social pariahs. Ensure that if they ever try to reveal classified information, they'll be dismissed as discredited frauds. Morrison stands. Gentlemen, we're dealing with a long-term intelligence operation designed to bury historical evidence of American covert activities. Emma is still typing, following digital breadcrumbs through layers of social media manipulation. I can prove it. The funding sources, the coordination patterns, even the language analytics. This isn't one kid making viral content. This is a professional disinformation campaign. Can you prove it publicly? Give me 12 hours. The next morning, Emma's investigative piece goes live simultaneously on her journalism portfolio, her social media accounts, and through contacts at the Arizona Republic. The headline reads, Foreign intelligence uses TikTok to target American veterans. Her article doesn't just vindicate my service record. It exposes an entire network of social media influencers who've been unknowingly recruited to discredit veterans of classified operations. Financial records showing payments from shell companies. Communication patterns indicating coordination from overseas. Content analysis proving that the stolen valor accusations weren't random, but specifically targeted veterans with gaps in their official records. Within hours, at Valor Police deletes his accounts. But it's too late. Emma's research has been picked up by national security reporters, congressional investigators, and intelligence community whistleblowers. 3 days later, I'm sitting in a CNN studio in Phoenix, preparing for my first television interview in 53 years. The producer, a serious woman in her 30s, reviews the questions one more time. Mr. Chun, the declassification of Operation Nightfall has created significant interest. Are you prepared to discuss the details of the mission? I'm prepared to discuss what I'm authorized to discuss. And the broader implications? The fact that foreign intelligence services have been targeting veterans like yourself? I'm prepared to discuss the fact that some secrets are worth keeping, but some truths are worth telling. The interview airs at 8 p.m. For 20 minutes, I tell a story I've never told publicly about a night in Laos, when 12 young soldiers prevented a nuclear weapons program that could have changed the course of history. About the 47 people who died to protect millions of others. About the weight of carrying classified secrets for 53 years. But mostly, I talk about my granddaughter Emma, who refused to let a social media punk destroy her grandfather's honor, and in the process uncovered an intelligence operation that threatened every veteran who ever served in missions the public will never hear about. After the interview, Emma and I drive back to Marana in comfortable silence. The TikTok video that started this whole mess has been deleted, but screenshots survive with context Emma provided about foreign manipulation and targeted disinformation. Grandpa, Emma says as we pull into my driveway, do you regret keeping the secret so long? I think about Operation Nightfall, about the 47 lives lost and the thousands saved, about the burden of classified knowledge and the relief of finally sharing it. I regret that it took a TikTok punk to force the truth into the open. But I don't regret the mission, and I don't regret having a granddaughter smart enough to fight back when someone tried to destroy her grandfather's honor. Even though fighting back meant revealing state secrets? Emma, some secrets are kept to protect operations. Others are kept to protect people. The Operation Nightfall secret was kept to protect the families of the men who didn't come home. To protect the diplomatic relationships that were built on the fiction that we were never in Laos. To protect the knowledge that sometimes preventing nuclear war requires doing things that history books will never record. And now? Now those families deserve to know their fathers and husbands and sons died preventing nuclear weapons from reaching American cities. Now the American people deserve to know that social media isn't just entertainment. It's a battlefield where foreign enemies attack our veterans and our history. 3 months later, congressional hearings begin on foreign manipulation of social media platforms. Emma testifies as an expert witness on disinformation campaigns targeting veterans. At Valor Police, whose real name turns out to be Kevin Mitchell from Ohio, agrees to cooperate with federal investigators in exchange for immunity. And in Marana, Arizona, I'm building a deck for Emma's graduation party, the same project that led me to that Home Depot parking lot where a classified mission from 1969 collided with a viral video from 2024. The lumber is the same, but everything else has changed. My neighbors wave when they see me. Having read Emma's articles and watched my CNN interview, Mrs. Patterson brought me a casserole last week with a note apologizing for doubting my service. The local veterans of foreign wars post invited me to speak at their next meeting, but the most important change is in Emma herself. She spent 3 months learning that journalism isn't just about reporting facts. It's about protecting people who've sacrificed for truths too dangerous to tell. She's decided to specialize in national security reporting, following in the footsteps of her grandfather, who kept secrets, and her own instincts to reveal them. When the time is right, sometimes the greatest honor we can give our veterans isn't thanking them for their service. It's understanding that some service can't be thanked for publicly, and that the absence of recognition doesn't mean the absence of sacrifice. Operation Nightfall cost 9 American lives and 47 others to prevent nuclear weapons from reaching a war zone. For 53 years, that sacrifice remained classified. It took a viral TikTok video and a determined granddaughter to bring it into the light. The real stolen valor isn't fake veterans pretending to be heroes. It's a society that doesn't understand the difference between the service you can talk about and the service you can never discuss, between the missions that make the history books and the missions that prevent history from taking a darker turn. Emma learned that lesson, and she's teaching it to a generation that gets its news from social media and its heroes from viral videos. Maybe that's the most important mission of all, making sure the truth survives in an age of digital manipulation and weaponized information. The deck is finished now, and next week, Emma will graduate summa cum laude with a job offer from the Washington Post. She'll cover national security stories that her grandfather's generation lived through in classified silence. Some secrets are worth keeping. Some truths are worth telling. And sometimes it takes both a TikTok scandal and a granddaughter's love to know the difference. Asterisk.